Hello. Today we are going to be taking a look at dividing whole numbers by unit fractions. So to quickly review what a unit fraction is, well, a unit is always one of something. And in a unit fraction, that means that within one whole, you're just counting one. So it could be something like 1/2, 1/3, 1/8, etc. Those are unit fractions. Your numerator is a 1. And so we're going to be taking a look at dividing whole numbers by unit fractions. So this is an example of just an equation. We have 3 wholes, and we are dividing it by 1/4. So what that really means is that our dividend is a 3, where that is the total that we have. And when we're dividing it by 1/4, that's our divisor. And if we remember back, when we're talking about divisors, they can represent either the number of groups or the size of groups. And if we're dividing by 1/4, or really any fraction, that is always talking about the size of the groups. 1/4 of a foot, 1/4 of a serving, 1/4 of a cup. That's the size of the group. And so our quotient is going to be the number of groups you can make. Okay, so when we're talking about dividing a whole number by a fraction, we're dividing by the size of groups, and we're trying to figure out how many groups we can make of that size. So let's take a look at how we could model this. And we're going to take a look at 2 different models. The first one is just using our fraction models. So I have 3 wholes, and now I want to find how many 1/4 I can make with those 3 wholes. So I'm going to take my whole and I'm going to break it up into fourths. And I took my second whole and broke it up into fourths, and my third whole and broke it up into fourths. Now remember, I'm trying to find how many 1/4 I can make. So there's 1/4 right there. Well, there's one group, and if I continue, that's one group, and that's a second group of the same size, a third, and a fourth. So in one whole, I can make 4 groups of 1/4. And so in my second one, I can also make 4 groups. That's a total of 8. And in the third whole, I can continue to make 4 more groups that are 1/4 big. So how many total groups have I made? Well, here's my 1/4, and if I count how many I've made total, I've made 12. So 3 divided by 1/4 is 12. A different type of model I can make, and depending on your units, it can be super useful, is a number line. So here I start at 0 and I go all the way to 3. And each whole is going to be broken up into, guess how many pieces? Yep, we're going to break it up into 4 pieces. So there's fourths going from 0 to 1, then we have more fourths going from 1 to 2, and fourths going from 2 to 3. So now if we're looking at this as a whole, and we're looking to see how many jumps, essentially, we are making that are 1/4 big, well, there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've made 12 total jumps. And so that's just another model to show how you can see that 3 divided by 1/4 is 12. So you're going to see this mostly in context, which means that you're going to see it in word problems. So now let's take a look at a word problem where we might be dividing a whole number by a fraction. So here's my first example. It says a pack of Oreos has 3 sleeves of cookies. And if you eat Oreos, you know what I mean. It's got like 3 columns of cookies. A serving size is 1/6 of a sleeve. How many servings does 1 pack of Oreos have? All right, so in this, we really want to be thinking about two things. We really want to think about, well, what's being split apart, broken up, divided? Is it the 3 sleeves or is it the 1/6 that is a serving? The other thing we want to think about is, well, what's the size? Which one is telling you a size? And so in this, we do know that we have 3 sleeves of cookies, and 1 serving is 1/6 of a sleeve. And if that's the case, that means that we are taking the 3 sleeves and dividing that apart. So my model, there's my first sleeve, my second sleeve, and my third sleeve of cookies. So I have 3 sleeves of cookies, and a serving is 1/6 of one of those sleeves. So that means each sleeve needs to be broken up into, yes, 6 pieces. So here I'm showing sixths in my first sleeve, and 1 serving is just that one piece of it. So that's a serving. And our goal is to see how many total servings we have in all 3 sleeves. So I'm going to have sixths in my second sleeve and sixths in my third sleeve. So if I'm looking to see how many of those 1/6 I can make, I am dividing 3 divided by 1/6. So in that first sleeve, I have 6 of that size, right? So I have 6 servings in one sleeve, but I don't just have one sleeve, I have 3 sleeves. So there's another 6 in my second sleeve and another 6 in my third sleeve, which would make a total of 18 servings. So 3 divided by 1/6 is 18, which means that a pack of Oreos has 18 servings. All right, let's take a look at one more example in context. Raj, as we know, loves to make paper weapons. And so Raj has 2 meters of material. He's making fabric ninja stars using his material. Each ninja star requires 1/4 of a meter of material. How many ninja stars can Raj make? So again, we want to make sure we're thinking about what is being split, broken, divided apart, but also how big is each group? And that's really thinking about the size. Okay, so we know that Raj has 2 meters of material. That's what's going to be broken apart. And we know that each of those ninja stars requires 1/4 of a meter. That's how big each group is. So what we're trying to find is how many he can make. That's our quotient, the number of groups. So I'm going to use a number line to represent this one. So here we have our 2 meters of material, and each meter is going to be broken apart into fourths. Use your denominator to help you know how to break that apart. So there's my 2 meters. That's first meter is broken apart into fourths, and then my second meter is also broken apart into fourths. Now, each ninja star requires 1/4 of material, 1/4 of a meter, 1/4 meter. So there's one ninja star. There's a second ninja star, that's 1/4 big, and a third and a fourth ninja star, because each one is a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, and an eighth. So if I'm counting by 1/4 from 0 to 2, I can make 8 ninja stars. So that means that Raj can make 8 ninja stars. And those are some examples of dividing a whole number by a fraction using models. Remember to always think about what is being broken or split apart and how big is each group. That's going to help us to know what our dividend and our divisor are. All right, if you have any questions, please be sure to let me know, and I'll see you in math class.